What does this show in Defendant's 28?
That's up my knee.
And which knee is that?
It looks like my left knee.
And Defendant's 29.
And that's my left thigh.
Defendant's 31 here.
And that looks like my left thigh again.
And Defendant's 33 here.
It looks like my thigh.
Is this your left or your right?
It looks like my right.
And Defendant's 37. What does that appear to be of?
It looks like a picture of my left arm over my right arm.
And Defendant's 39.
And it looks like my right arm.
Defendant's 40.
And that looks like my left thigh.
The judge did. How is it that you sustained the injuries that we've looked at from exhibits 21 through 41?
It's where he grabbed me and hit me the night of the incident.
Okay. I kind of wanted to go right into March 6th and March 7th, okay?
Okay.
Tell us what happened on the evening of March 7th, around about the time that you all were in the living room and there was dinner being served and all that.
Okay, begin in the evening, I decided to cook dinner for us. And so I made scrambled eggs for him and a fried egg for me. And I made I cooked some kielbasa and some bacon. I fried the bacon.
Okay.
And then we had dinner.
Kielbasa?
Kielbasa.
Like
Like
kielbasa? Sausage?
Yeah, sausage.
Okay.
I cut that up too for us. And then we had dinner, and then I cleaned up the kitchen. And then he fell asleep.
Where in the house, the jury has seen lots of photos of the house, where in the house was this, where he falls asleep?
In the living room area where the two chairs are, in the foyer area right in front of the television.
Was there something that you did while he's asleep there in the foyer?
Something that I did.
Yeah, he's asleep. What are you doing?
I'm over there on my phone.
At some point, does Mr. Barron wake up?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And what happens after it is that he gets up?
After he gets up, I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and he was awake, and he had my phone in his hand.
Okay.
And
So are we talking of that first witness?
You have free reign.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Showing you State's Exhibit 182. Is this your phone?
yes, that's my phone.
Okay. Does Mr. Barron, well, first of all, do you have a code on your phone?
Is he what?
Do you have a code on your phone?
Yes, I do.
Is that something that Mr. Barron knows?
Yes, he knows my code.
What is the code? You don't tell me the number, but what does it represent?
It's my mother's birthday.
You've got your mother's birthday as your code, and you've gone into the bathroom now, so you've come back, and Mr. Barron's holding your phone, so tell us what happens next.
Yes, he's holding my phone, and he said to me, he said, "Who is this guy you're texting?" And I said, "He's a friend of mine." He said, "It sounds more than a friend." And I said, "He's a friend of mine." And he said, "How do you know him?" And I told him that I met him on St. Simon's Island. He said, "How long have you known him?" And I told him about 2 years. He said, "Have you ever slept with him?" And I said, "No, I have not."
Okay. And hang on before you go any further. When was it that you had started, I guess, communicating, or are we talking about, what's the name of this person, first of all?
Charlie English.
When was it that you had started communicating with Mr. English by text?
About 2 to 3 weeks prior to this day.
So this would be the 7th, so we're talking about February 15th, 16th, something like that?
Yes.
Had you actually gone and met in person with Mr. English? Had you had some physical meeting with him?
No, I have not.
You're texting with him, though, and what messages on your phone are visible? In other words, that Mr. Barron could see?
There were only 2 messages that were visible to him.
Okay. And I'm going to try to find them. Do you remember what the substance of the one?
Yeah, the one text said, if you were alone with me, what would you do to me right now? Something like that.
I'll show you Defendant's Exhibit 14. See that in the green right there?
What would you do to me if I was next to you?
Did Mr. Barron accept your explanation that you'd not had a relationship with this other man?
No, he did not.
What happened after that?
After that, he told me, "Did you sleep with him?" And I said,
Objection, hearsay.
It's not offered for its truth. There's statements involving the heart of this case.
Judge, I can't imagine that these statements by Mr. Barron are not offered for the truth.
Y'all go ahead and take a break, please. From the top.
Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay. This witness, Mr. Barron, is unavailable because this defendant killed him. And for this defendant to be able to talk about everything that Mr. Barron said that night, They're absolutely offering all of these statements for the truth of the matter asserted. They're offering these statements to show that Mr. Barron was angry about Mr. English, that he didn't believe that she had never met him before, that he didn't believe that he had had a sexual relationship before, talking about statements that he made as far as all of this is hearsay. They're absolutely offering every single one of these statements for the truth of the matter asserted, and to try and get in Mr. Barron's statements, who is again deceased, especially after, Judge, we had a whole hearing about Mr. Barron's statements where they wanted to keep his statements out, and the body came from St. Simon's arguing confrontation clause, but then they wanted...
Does the state have a right to the confrontation clause?
No, Judge, we don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Okay.
And
So why would you bring that up?
because the defense is picking in...
Why would you bring that up? You're making an argument that somehow that ruling related to the confrontation clause is somehow applicable here.
No.
How is it applicable here?
Judge, the only reason I brought that up is because the defense was adamant about making sure that Mr. Barron's statements, and that is hearsay.
They were adamant because there is well-established constitutional precedent that a trial court should not let that in.
Correct.